Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Danielle. And if you are returning, then hey friend, I hope you're doing well. Today is going to be the second update for my Pan That Palette project. Life has been kind of crazy over here, so I am a little bit late. I am about halfway through March, whereas usually I try to film these updates on the first Friday of each month. So I do have about a week and a half of extra progress this month. And next month is only going to be around 2.5 weeks long. So the progress there will be a little bit less exciting than it is this month. This year I am working on panning 2 different palettes from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I am working on panning Soft Glam as my typical Pan That palette. And then I'm working on Norvina as my Pan That palette in order project. So I will go a little bit more in depth, of course, on my progress on these palettes in this video. But if you've missed the intro video where I go a bit more in depth on the rules, especially for my Pan That palette in order, I would encourage you to check that out and I'll have it linked in the cards. You can go ahead and click there, check that out first, and then come back. Before we get started, because I am working on 2 ABH palettes, I do want to just address the fact that there has been some stuff coming up about Anastasia, the original creator of Anastasia Beverly Hills, the brand. In recent weeks, some people have taken to Reddit to shed light on some unsavory details about Anastasia, the original creator of ABH. And of course, prior to seeing those posts, I had no idea about some of those things. Some of them are unfortunately directly related to the current world climate and politics. In addition to that, Smoky Glow actually made a video a few days ago about ABH and Anastasia and the evolution of ABH over the past few years. That video gives some good background regarding some of the controversies surrounding ABH and some of its business dealings and also some of the drama with the creator and owners of that company. So if that interests you, I'll have that linked for you. But because I am highlighting that brand here with these projects, I just want to be transparent and to share that with you, and also just to put it out there that I personally am not supporting ABH any longer. I'm on a no-buy, so it's not like I would be buying anything from their brand anyways. But going forward, I will not continue purchasing from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So as far as I'm concerned, Soft Glam already needed to be moved out of my collection just because it's getting pretty old. And then Norvina is actually a more recent purchase for me. I bought it in 2021. But I'm happy to be getting some really good use on it this year, not only to get some progress on my collection, but also I might as well begin working some of those Anastasia Beverly Hills products out of my collection. Anyways, I just wanted to put that out there, make sure that we're all on the same page here, because there has been some controversy. I just want to make sure that I do address that. Anyways, with all of that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and get on into it. And I'm going to be starting off with Soft Glam and the progress that I have had this month. So here's what Soft Glam was looking like last month. And here's how it is looking now. I'm pretty excited about the progress that I've been able to make this month, especially because I didn't feel like I wore makeup a whole lot in the past few weeks. But I'm just going to go ahead and go through each shade one at a time, and then at the end of this video I will have the comparison photos of the progress of this palette throughout the past few months. If you're interested in checking that out, I would encourage you to do so. Jessica from Jessica Banana, I think is what her channel is called. I'll have it linked below. But she is doing her first Pan That palette project this year. She's actually panning Modern Renaissance this year. And she said in her last update video that she likes to watch all of those comparison photos and videos, and she made a comment, something to the effect of She looks at them like a detective and likes to see all of the differences and see it for herself what exactly there has been progress on. So I am the same exact way, and that's why I include the photos like that. If that's you, please do remember to stick around for the end of the video, and you can get out your little magnifying glass and, and see if you can see all of the progress that has been made this month. But anyways, we'll start off with tempera. So my goal this month was to hit side pan, and of course I have done that this month. I used this shadow 14 times in total over the past month and was able to really expand pan to the point of hitting side pan. And I think I also made quite a bit of progress at the top of the shadow as well. So I'm very happy with the progress that I've made already so far on that shade. I've said it before, and I think it's very evident that this will be the first shadow that is completely cleared out of this palette. So my goal for this shadow in general is to start clearing out that top bit, especially if I could hit side pan up at the top and then clear out that corner, I would be ecstatic. Next is the shade Glistening. I was able to hit pan on this shade last month, and I didn't have a specific goal for it this time around. I did only use it one time, and I said in, I think, the last update that this is a shade that I will use more and more as we get closer to summer, so I'm totally fine with leaving it as is now with just a little bit of progress. But it is one that I do want to start to focus a little bit more on now that it's starting to warm up outside. So with that in mind, I would like to try to get 3 uses at the minimum over the next couple of weeks before the next update. Next, I used orange soda 2 times this month. My goal was to use it 5 times, so obviously I did not reach my goal. But this is one that I would like to begin focusing on a bit more intently over the next couple of months. If I could hit pan in orange soda by summer, that would be amazing. So I'm going to start to make some intentional progress, figure out how I can be mixing it with some of these darker nudie, warm nude shades to make some sort of shade that I would feel comfortable using a bit more frequently. Next is Rose Pink. Last month I had quite a bit of a dip going, so my goal was to hit pan in that shade, and I was able to do that this month. It actually only took 1 use for me to hit pan in it, so I only used it a total of 2 times this month. My goal is to continue to focus on it a bit more, to start to expand pan. I really think that if I focus on this, it really should not take that long to clear out completely because it is pretty crumbly. It's kind of a mixture between a satin and what we would consider to be a standard shimmer nowadays. It's not super impactful as a shimmer, but it's a bit more shimmery than a typical satin. So something about that combination of factors really lends it to be pretty crumbly, and it's easily used up. So hitting pan on it was not difficult at all, especially when using a brush. So I am imagining that I could expand pan pretty quickly in this one. So that's going to be my goal this month. Next we have Sultry, which my goal was to use 3 or 4 times, and I did not use at all this month. I would again like to make the goal of using this at least 3 times over the next couple of weeks, so I can begin to make a little bit more progress on it. And I do have a nice shadow that I can layer over it to get a bit more impact. So I am planning to work on that one a bit more intently over the next month or so to start seeing some good use on it. Next in this palette is the shade Bronze. I didn't use this shade at all over the past month, and I didn't have a specific goal for it or anything. I did try to press it a little bit more firmly in there as it tends to crumble just like Rose Pink does. My goal this month is to begin using it, so I would like to use it 2 to 3 times over the next few weeks so that we can start to see some use on it, and as it gets warmer outside, start to work on hitting pan on this shade. Next up is Dusty Rose. My goal this month was to hit pan, and I was able to do that this month. Dusty Rose is one of my favorite shades in this palette. I used it 3 times this month, and it took only 2 times to hit pan on it. I don't have a specific goal for it for next month, but if I can just continue to use it somewhat regularly to continue to get used in this and expand pan, that would be great, and then I can focus on it a bit more intently toward the end of the year. Next is the shade Fairy. My goal was to use this 5 times in the past month, and I used it only 3 times, so didn't quite hit goal, but there is quite a bit of a dip forming in this shadow, so my goal for this month is to try to hit pan. I'm hoping that's not too much of an aggressive goal, but that is what I am hoping to do over the next couple of weeks. So we will see if we can get another little shiny pan in here. Next is Burnt Orange, and my goal was to use this 5 times, which I did, and I was able to hit pan. I think that it should be pretty easy to expand pan on this pretty quickly because there is a pretty large dip going in there. So this is another one that I want to focus on for the next several months to start to see some really good use and expansion in pan. So I don't have a specific usage goal, but it is one of the shades that I want to be really focusing on in coming months. Next is Sienna. My goal was to use this shade 3 times this month, and I was able to use it 4 times. There is a bit of a dip forming in this one as well, so that's very exciting. I'm hoping I can hit pan on it in the next several months. My goal for this month is just to use it at least 3 times again and to continue to get frequent good usage on it. And of course, I am not going to be panning Cypress Umber, Noir, or Mulberry this year, or ever. So the last one, last but not least, is Rustic. This has especially become one of my favorites over the past several months, and I am getting a bit of a dip in there, so this is another one that I would like to hit pan on in the next couple of months. My goal for this past month was to use it 5 times, and I used it 10 times. And I would just like to continue getting consistent use out of it just like that. Maybe not 10 times this month because there's only going to be a couple of weeks. But if I can continue to just incorporate it in my looks, then I'll be happy because I do really enjoy this one and I'm fine with it sticking around for a while. So this month I do want to be intentionally focusing on certain shades in this palette or a certain color story in this palette. And the kind of 6 shades that I want to focus on are these right here: Glistening, Orange Soda, Rose Pink, Fairy, Burnt Orange, and Sienna. And as I mentioned earlier, I would like to hit pan in these 3 that are left without pan in this little color story of 6. If I could hit pan on those in the next several months, that would be great. I would love that. Orange Soda will probably take a little bit longer. Fairy, I'm hoping to hit pan on this month. And then Sienna, I'm guessing will be somewhere in the middle there. So that's that on Soft Glam, and now we will move on to Norvina. As you know, I am panning Norvina in order, and I am not allowing myself to work on any of the shades in this palette until I have hit pan on the previous shade. So here's what it was looking like last month. And here is how it is looking now. So as you can see, I have not yet been able to hit pan in summer, although I have really been enjoying using this shade. The color is a nice bronzy color that has kind of an interesting darkened base. It looks a little bit like a cool darker purple base. I was able to use summer 15 times this month, and I still was not able to hit pan. Last month, I was able to hit pan in Dreamer after only 8 uses, I think, but that just really speaks to the differences in the formula for these 2 shades. Dreamer is a bit of a chunkier, kind of a flakier shade because it has some bigger chunks of glitter within the champagne shimmer shadow. The shade doesn't come off in chunks like, say, the rose pink or bronze in the Soft Glam palette, but the formula is just a bit looser because of those larger chunks of glitter, whereas Summer is just a true metallic. So it is very foiled when applied, whereas Dreamer is a little bit piecier looking when applied. And the formula of Summer has a bit more of a creamy consistency because it's just very pigmented. Here's a little finger swatch of Summer to hopefully show you just how creamy this shadow is. The consistency is just completely different from Dreamer. I hope you can see a difference there in the level of creaminess and also pigmentation. It just has a different consistency because of the different formulas. And I hope you can see in the swatches there, Summer just swatches a bit more foiled and a bit more smoothly, whereas Dreamer has those larger pieces of glitter in it, and it's still a very beautiful shadow, just the formulas are definitely different. And so you can see that those differences in formula really had an impact on how quickly I was able to work through these shades. Summer just does not seem like it's quitting. It's had quite a bit of a dip in it for quite some time this month, and I keep thinking that I'm going to hit pan on it, and it just still hasn't happened. So I am pretty confident that I will hit pan on this by next month, even though it is a shorter amount of time. I use it every time that I do my makeup recently. So yeah, that should be not a problem, but it just has taken a bit longer than anticipated. I am interested to see what Wild Child will be like. My guess is that it'll be a bit closer in formula to Dreamer, but we will just have to see. I have not quite decided what I will do if I hit pan on Summer tomorrow, if I will roll in Wild Child or if I will just wait until next month. I'm not sure yet, so we'll just have to wait and see what I think when the time comes, or if it comes. So yeah, unfortunately no pan this month, but next month, if not sooner, I should definitely be able to roll in my next shade in this palette. So that's everything for my Pan That Palette and Pan That Palette in Order updates. Please remember to stick around to the end of this video to check out those photo comparisons of the palettes each month so that you can check out the progress that has been made. If you are panning a palette this year, I would love to hear how your project is going. What kind of progress have you been able to make so far in the past couple months? And if you have an Instagram page or a YouTube channel where you share your progress, please remember to link it below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.